Before starting, I wanna mention some stuff. Firstly, this is a story I wrote all by myself. I didn't take it from Reddit or anything like that, and obviously, this being the first story I've ever written and shared publicly, it isn't perfect, so criticism is welcome. To add to that, this video is different than my last video. It is a creepypasta, so it's obviously a made-up story that works kind of like an audiobook. It's more similar to my first video. Secondly, this story mentions the war. This is not referring to either World War I or World War II. It is a made-up war with made-up enemies. Lastly, lots of thanks to my friend Zoe for being the female's voice. Σε ευχαριστώ, Zoe. Yes, we have a second voice. I'm not gonna say anything else. I hope you liked the video, as I worked very hard for it. But I can work harder. Should I begin?
Whenever you're ready.
I opened the door that led to the outside of the hotel nightfall. The chilling air of the night hit me like a million needles. I had been in Sapardo for almost 3 days now, and still, I hadn't gotten used to the cold that comes with a city that's so up north. I pulled out of my pocket a pack of cigarettes and a lighter, a bad habit I picked as a Greek teen, as most of them do. I took one cigarette and, after 2 or 3 tries, I managed to light it up. I opened my phone to look at the time as I was taking a drag of my cigarette. My phone read 11:09. Me and Julia were supposed to meet at 11:10. Noticing a notification on my phone, I pressed on it to see what's up. It was a message from my friend and roommate from the last 3 days, Dimitri. It read, "Hey dude, just so you know, teachers in our floor won't chill after what happened in today's performances. They are going back and forth in the hall, checking that no one leaves the room, like when they're fucking prison or something. Whatever you and your friends want to do, it ain't happening in our floor." I chuckled about Dimitri and his kinda aggressive personality. This theater festival really brought us closer together. Our team, consisting of 15 or so people, was the biggest in the International Theater Festival. It was natural for some members of our team to not get along with others and not to have the same interests. What surprised me though was that I was the only person to at least try to meet with kids from other teams and respectively countries, let alone actually managing to do so. Dimitris was one of the 5 people or so from my team that I actually liked and talked to. The door suddenly opened. I looked up to see Julia, with a cigarette in hand, waiting to be lit. "You're only wearing a t-shirt? Are you trying to die?" I asked, mocking her. "Come on, Tony, it ain't that cold," she responded. "So, what's up?" Me and Julia are really bonded in the last 3 days, mostly because of the similarities in our interests as personality. We were both adventurous and suckers for anything horror-related, let alone the obvious, we both love theater. We also met some other people, mostly locals, and she introduced me to her friends as well. Remember the locals we met at the party?" she said, while lighting her cigarette. "Ah, yeah, they seem like they're cool," I responded. Yeah, they're cool. Them and some other kids wanna throw an after party." "Oh, sick, where is it?" "That's the problem. All of the floors of the hotel are filled with teachers. They don't know where to go. They're asking if your floor is teacher free." "Are you kidding? They are everywhere. The 11th floor is a no-go. Are you sure there isn't even one room where the teachers won't hear us? No way, dude. The part of the floor that we are on is full of them. Shit. Well, I guess we're doing this. Doing what? I asked. She grabbed me by the hand and pulled me out of the hotel shed. She pointed her arm at the upper part of the hotel. The building itself looked and was very old. It wasn't something special, but it had a certain aura that I could never explain. What do you see? She asked, like the answer was obvious. A building? I said, while I took the last drag of my cigarette and threw it out. No, you idiot, the floor that I'm pointing at. I looked more carefully and it seemed like she was pointing at a wall between two floors. It's a wall. Are you having a seizure? Shut up, she said, giggling. Okay, just... Don't you notice anything different about these two floors in relation with the other groups of them? I thought you were observant. I am observant, I thought to myself, as I focused more on the details of the things she was pointing at. The cold started getting less and less noticeable as I started getting more and more focused. I first noticed that the two floors were the 11th floor and the 12th floor, the floors that me and Julia were staying at. The oddest thing I noticed though was the fact that the space between the two floors was far bigger than any other space in the building, and that the wall looked noticeably newer, like it was a new addition to the hotel. I pointed out every detail I had found to her, and she responded by saying, "Huh, you really are observant," as she started walking back towards the set of the hotel. Okay, so the hotel had a renovation. So what? I said, following her. Okay, let me break it down to you, she said while taking the last drag of her cigarette and throwing it into an ashtray next to her. Some of the locals told me about this urban legend that talks about this hotel. They say there is an extra floor between the 11th and the 12th that used to be the 12th floor and that it closed down for some reason. The story has many versions, from a lot of unexplained deaths to even a secret society, but they are all mostly bullshit. The fact still remains though, there is something between those two floors. You saw it yourself. I mean, sure there is something, but it could be anything. Who are we to say that no one will be there working? Maybe it's under construction. Yeah, but it's the middle of the night. Who do you think will be there? And even if their space isn't good enough for a party, we are still going to be exploring a part of the hotel that is out of bounds. Come on, you told me how much you love exploring. I thought about it for a bit, trying to find an alternative. What about somewhere outside? I said. They don't really want to go outside. Besides, there is nothing we can do out here. Come on, Tony, I really could go for a beer, and they have alcohol. Well, I guess going exploring doesn't sound too bad. Fuck yeah. Okay, let's go, Julia said excitedly. Wait, we need a game plan for this. We cannot go asking the reception for the keys to a secret floor. If this place does exist, the owners will have some kind of door so that someone could go inside and do repairs. I think our best bet is to start from the staircase, I said. There are two of them, remember? Which one do you want to start with? Julia asked. Your team is on wing A, right? Yeah, why? Perfect, mine as well. Let's start with the staircase on wing A so that we can get the hard part of being quiet out of the way. And by the way, be quiet, you hear? We don't want any teachers to hear us. Yeah, chicken, don't worry, we ain't getting caught. Now come on, let's take the elevator up to the 9th floor, since no teams are there, and start walking up the staircase until we notice something, I guess. She turned around and opened the door of the hotel. Getting inside, I was hit with the smell that comes with a building this old. As me and Julia were walking to the elevators, I noticed some photos that the hotel had put up. I had passed by them many times, but I've never stopped to look at them. They were some old photos of the building. Beneath every picture a date could be observed, that went all the way back to 1900. After the picture of the year 1925, there was a 5-year gap. This wasn't something weird though. As you know, at the time, the war was at its peak, and this city felt its consequences, as the opposing military captured the city for 5 years, when the war ended with the conquerors losing. Information on what happened to the city while under captivity are few and very unreliable. "Hey, Slowpants, come on!" Julia said while waiting for the elevator. Yeah, I'm coming," I said, walking up to the elevator as well. After a bit, the doors of the elevator opened, and we walked into it. Julia pushed the button to the 9th floor, and the elevator started making its way up. "So, you have any idea how we're getting into this secret room?" I said. "No, unfortunately, but I'm sure we're gonna find something in the staircase." Yeah, you're right, there has to be a way in." After waiting for a bit, the doors to the elevator opened. Okay, let's go," I said while I started walking towards the stairs. "You gonna miss this place or what?" Julia asked me. "Yeah, definitely. This was a wonderful experience. But it ain't over yet. Let's go make an after party that no one will ever forget." "That's the spirit." We continued walking until we reached the door that led to the staircase. Funnily enough, I had never used the staircase as the elevator was always fast and available. As I opened the door, I noticed that the staircase itself jutted out of the main building, as the staircase was surrounded by windows. Julia whispered, "Be quiet now, okay? We are very close to our floors." "Agreed," I said. "Oh, and one more thing. Count how many landings we passed to go from one floor to another. This could verify that the secret floor really does exist." "Oh yeah, good idea." Before going up, I looked behind me and noticed the wall. It had a very ugly and kinda old wallpaper that tried to recreate the brick wall with no avail. The number of the floor was written right next to the door. We started quietly making our way up the staircase. As we reached the next floor, I remembered that we only passed one landing to get there. "So, to go from the 9th floor to the 10th, you need to pass one landing," I said quietly. "Yeah, it seems so. Let's just keep going." I noticed once more the same ugly wallpaper at the wall. Deciding not to mention it, we kept going. After passing one more landing, we reached the 11th floor. Now literally right next to my floor, we could barely even talk. The floor was the same as the other ones we had passed, same old wallpaper, same door, just different number written on the wall. "Hey, this is it," she said whispering. "If there is any way to get into the secret floor, we're gonna find it somewhere in the stairs coming up." I know. Keep your eyes peeled, okay?" Continuing up the stairs, everything seemed normal at first. We first reached the first landing, and as we started going up the second flight of stairs to reach the next floor, I noticed the same brick texture of that ugly wallpaper. But as I got closer to the new floor, I realized that this wall did not have any wallpaper. Instead, it was a real brick wall. Reaching the actual wall, I was shocked to see that no door was in this floor, and instead, it worked as another landing to the next floor. Julia also stopped and stared into the wall curiously, like she was looking for the door. Am I the only one who can't see a door?" she said, this time being loud. "I mean, a door is supposed to be here. What the fuck is this? And the wall, it's... I said loudly as well. "What about the wall?" she said, almost worried now. "Well, every other wall had a cheap wallpaper of a brick wall, but this is a genuine brick wall," I said while I watched Julia run upstairs. "Why are you running?" I said, this time almost shouting so that she could hear me. "Yep, the upstairs floor is the 12th one, although it should be right here," she said while coming back to the mysterious landing. Okay, we need to calm down. There is something up with this hotel, there is no doubt about that. If there is a way to get into this abandoned floor, it's somewhere over here. Why would every other wall be a wallpaper and this one be a real brick wall?" Maybe it's just cheaper to have a brick wall instead of a wallpaper," she said. "Then why not make every wall a genuine brick wall?" unless they're trying to hide something that's in this wall and they put all of that wallpaper just so that they could make the wall blend in. Well, shit, I could really go for a beer right now, she said, while the sound echoed through the stairway that made me remember one of the only vital components of our plan. Be quiet. Hey, who's down there? A voice from the floor above us said in a language I didn't recognize. It was one of Julia's teachers. We looked at each other. Julia's face was white, and so was mine. She first put her finger at her mouth, signaling to me to be quiet. Then, she pointed at the stairs that led to the bottom floor. Her teacher was still calling to us, but she was not going down yet. As soon as we started slowly going down, we heard the door downstairs spring open. "Who's up there? If I catch you, you're dead!" one of my teachers shouted. With no time to think, we ran up to the wall as we heard both teachers closing up on us. I was frantically looking around the wall to find something, anything that would get us into that secret floor. I did not have a lot of time and I knew that. I started looking and touching every brick and the spaces between them, but still nothing. Shit! There has to be something we can do, Julia said while the teachers were literally behind us. Brick by brick I started looking, but still nothing. But then, there it was. It did not jar out or anything like that, but the space in between the other bricks and this one was blank. No cement connected the brick with the other ones, no nothing. I swiftly plunged the brick so hard that it felt like a punch. A part of the wall opened up like a door. We quickly pushed the door open, got inside this newfound room and started closing the heavy door. Julia's teacher was closing up on us, but at the last second, the door closed. We got away from the door, and we sat down as we heard our teacher struggle to open the door with no avail. After a bit of strangling and a lot of cursing, they left. "We did it! We actually did it!" Julia said while looking around the dark room. But at the same time, we're practically stuck here since, teachers are gonna be outside keeping watch. Yeah, and it's gonna be hard for any other people to come here as well. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's just explore for now, I said while opening my phone. The time now read 11:50. I realized that I did not have any reception, which was odd. I opened the flashlight of my phone to look around. My first impression of the secret room was of disappointment. It was small, with nothing inside but a lamp at the side of the wall that surprisingly had a light bulb still inside, and the door opposite to the one we just got into this room from, with some kind of papers hung right next to it by one of those wooden boards. The door is locked, but look what I found, Julia said while pointing at the papers and going to pick them up. What did I say? I asked. Well, I can't read the actual words because it's in another language, but it looks like a checklist for people that work here to write that they actually did their job. Job? Like construction? I said. No way, looks like people come here to do, well, whatever they do, once every 5 years, and that the next worker will come in like 3 or so months. What kind of job is this that they only do once every 5 years? Well, it could be like a checkup, kinda like they do at elevators, A checkup? What do they need to check on? I don't know, she said while smudging her shoulders. I looked around a bit more and saw that on the hanger that was the wooden board before Julia picked it up was a pair of keys. Hey, a pair of keys, I said while picking them up. Well, obviously they're for the door. Try them out, doofus, she said. Yeah, I'm the doofus, not the person who didn't even notice the keys hung right next to the locked door. Just shut up and try them, Tony, she said, giggling. I put the keys in a keyhole. The door itself felt out of place. It was definitely newer than the rest of the room, and also it was made from metal. If anything, that hotel was really trying to keep anyone away from this place. I turned the keys once, twice, 3 times, and at the 4th turn the door actually unlocked. I slowly opened the heavy metal door, and when I looked in, oh boy, had we hit a jackpot. Holy shit, Julie exclaimed. It's a whole fucking floor stuck in time. And that's what it was. A whole new floor that seemed to be stuck in time. It was like any other floor, but just a little bit different. The wallpapers were outdated, the lamps were old, the doors used keys and not card keys. But I felt very uneasy. And the smell was very weird. I could definitely smell the dust, but there was something else, something strong. The floor had an old soggy carpet embedded on it. Every step I took, my foot would sink like it was in quicksand. The ceiling was filled with mold. Ceiling panels were either hanging from the frame or completely broken off. We have to text someone about this, I said, filled up with excitement. They can't come here yet, remember? And also, I have no reception whatsoever anyways. It seems like we're stuck here. Wait, you too? I said, surprised. That's odd. It doesn't matter, she said, interrupting my train of thought. Look around you, dude. Let's go explore. Okay, but let's stick together. And no vandalizing. We're urban explorers, not anarchists. Yeah, whatever, she said, while going on one of the rooms. Following her in the room, it looked like a normal hotel room, just with a lot of dust. This went on for some time, me and Zulia fucking around, going from room to room, nothing too out of the ordinary. The first signs of the fact that we weren't welcome came after the first 20 rooms, after about 25 minutes of fucking around, when we walked into a new hallway, which made us both freeze, not from fear, but more from shock. This doesn't look like the hotel, I said, hesitantly, like I didn't believe the words that were coming out of my mouth. I mean, it definitely is the hotel, but it's different, Julia added. What we were seeing was a hotel hallway that looked like it was turned into a hospital, and a very busy one at that. There was old medical equipment everywhere, from a bed with leather belts on the side to restrict someone from moving, to other smaller equipment on the ground. There even was dried up blood in the ground, leading to one specific room at the right end of the hallway. This newfound hallway was far from the entrance of the secret floor. I don't like this, Zulia added. No, this is awesome. It's every urban explorer's dream to find something like this, I responded, completely forgetting about the reception and any other problem and fears I seemed to have earlier. I don't know, Tony, let's just leave, she responded. No, can't do. Teachers should probably still be lurking around the staircase, and if there is another exit, we won't find it where we came from. Whatever we do, we have to keep exploring onward. Okay, but just be careful, okay? Relax, dude. Nothing bad is gonna happen here. I'm sure of it. And besides, again, this is every urban explorer's dream. You wanted to go urban exploring? Well, here you go, I said. You know what? You're right. Let's just do this. That's the spirit. The truth was that I was a little bit on edge for this place as well. And for good reason. Looking back at it now, that was the weirdest hallway I had ever seen in my life. It was like everything about that place was telling us to leave and to never look back. And surely, getting caught by our teachers was better than what we were about to go through next. Okay, fine, Zulia said. Where do we start from? Well, let's just start from the first doors and work our way down the hallway, I said. Sounds good. I went to the door to our left. It had an inscription on it. It read, Sergeant Denton. It also had a red square painted onto it. Huh. So this was like a military thing? Julia pointed out from behind my back. Yeah, It seems so. Does the other door have any inscription? I asked while looking behind me at the other door. Yep. Head Dr. Tyrone, she said while trying to open the door. Shit, this one is locked. What about the other one? I went to check on the other door. It was a bit hard to open, but I eventually managed to crack it open just enough so that I could fit. This room was like a hotel room turned into an office. It had everything an old office would have. Desk, filing cabinets, stuff like that. Looking more around the room with the flashlight on my phone, I noticed that a lot of papers were scattered across the room's floor. A lot of them had big bite marks on them as well. What the? I said while picking up a paper with a bite mark on it. What is it? Julia asked, concerned about what I had seen. Oh shit, is that a bite mark? Think so, I said. What does the paper say? Julia asked me. I tried reading the paper, which fortunately was in English, but all the letters were smudged off for some reason. The only thing I could notice was the date. It was a letter sent on the 23rd of May in 1927. Huh, this letter is from 1927, I said, surprised. Hey, back then the city was under captivity, wasn't it? She said. Oh yeah, that would explain a lot. This hotel was used as some kind of facility by the enemies when the city was under captivity, I said. Yeah, and it probably was some kind of medical facility since there is a doctor's office. This also explains why the signs and the date on the letters are in English, since the enemy's formal language was English, Julia said. Huh, you're right. But still, this doesn't explain why this is the only floor that was not revived back into its original intent, meaning being a hotel. Well, maybe they only used this floor. Why would they use the highest floor for a hospital? Hospitals need easy access to the ground floor, don't they? Huh. You're right, I guess, she said after a little bit of thinking. But let's just continue exploring. I looked more carefully at the filing cabinets. Some of them were open, but the newest ones were intact. I went to open one of them when Julia called out for me. Hey, look at this, she said while holding a paper in hand. What is this? I asked. I found it in a cabinet on the desk. It's labeled Special Documents. It says on top that it is a standardized letter that's sent to every new worker of this facility. Wanna give it a read? Of course I do, I said while snatching the letter off Julia's hand. I started carefully reading the letter with Julia reading it with me. The words were a little bit hard to read, but it was manageable. The letter was obviously very old. Novice employee, welcome to the 12th floor facility of the Nightfall Hospital of the Great Empire. This astounding building was once a hotel while the city wasn't part of the Great Empire, but now it has been turned into a hospital to nurse back to health the valiant soldiers that fight in the frontier. That's what the enemies called themselves, the Great Empire. It was a unanimous decision by all nations that took part of the war to just call them the enemies as not to glorify them. But you already knew that, I'm sorry. This section of the hospital, though, is different. It is dedicated entirely on the experimentation of those who aren't part of the Great Empire. Enemy soldiers that are captured at the frontier are immediately sent here by order of our Great Emperor himself, and they are to be experimented on with chemical weapons and with narcotics meant to enhance one's physical attributes. As I read those lines, I felt sick to my stomach. This operation is to be kept top secret from all non-verified personnel by order of our Great Emperor, as to silence ethical concerns of those who won't see the bigger picture and how this practice, although somewhat unethical, will help our great empire to grow in both magnitude and strength. This job could be hazardous, but you have already been notified about that. And we hope we are not to worry about your mental state being affected by the images you see in the facility. Every week you shall find a map outside of Sergeant Denton's office depicting every test subject's location, as well as the level of their aggressiveness. At that point I saw something bright with the corner of my eye. I immediately turned to look at what I had seen, but nothing was there. You're going out of your mind, I thought to myself. Your assigned test subjects shall be given to you by Head Dr. Tyrone. Given you have any questions, you may refer to Sergeant Denton or to Head Dr. Tyrone. For the Great Empire, Secretary of the Nightfall Hospital. I looked away from the letter and to Julia. She was as shocked as I was. I knew something was up with this goddamn place. I told you so, Julia said, scared and almost shaking. I know, but relax, okay? Think about it. Whatever happened here happened a long time ago. And yes, this place is shady, but the point still stands. If we wanna get out of here without getting caught, we gotta press on. Okay, you're right, I guess. Let's just try to get out of here as quickly as possible, please. At that point, I was on edge as well. After seeing that bright thing with the corner of my eye and reading the letter, I was disgusted. But still, that place didn't seem like it was dangerous, just uninviting. Okay, let's keep going, I said, getting up and making my way to the door, when suddenly my flashlight flickered, reminding me and Julia that the only source of light in the entire floor was our phones. The fuck, I said, while hitting my phone on the side to fix it. I walked out of the room. Before moving forward, I noticed a piece of paper that was hung right beside the door. It was the map that the letter talked about. The map revealed that this hospital went even deeper on the floor. Every room had information next to it depicting some details about said room, like the type of experiments happening there and the danger level of the test subject. But one of them stood out. At the very end of the floor, where we had to walk at least 5 minutes to reach it, there was a room that was marked with red. The text next to it read, "Extremely aggressive subject. Authorized entry only." Dude, come on, we gotta move fast, remember? Julia yelled. Coming! I yelled back while folding the map and putting it into my pocket. As I started walking to Julia, I again couldn't help but notice something in the corner of my eye. I turned around and this time, I saw it. For a split second, I saw one of those old eyes flicker into life. I gasped from sheer surprise. What is it? Julia asked, concerned. Did that light just flicker? I still am not a fan of this shit, she answered while continuing to walk. Yeah, starting to get scared as well, I said. But that was my imagination, come on. Because I'm on edge, that's why. Yeah, sure. Imagination, Julia answered, annoyed. Noticing another set of doors, one marked with a distinctive red marking and one not, I said, Hey, come check this out. Another set of doors. And one of them has another marking as well, like Sergeant Denton's office, she added. Trying to open the two doors, we realized that, like in the last case, this time the door with the red marking opened, and the other one did not. Same shit as the last time, Julia noted. These markings look recent. Yeah, they do. Maybe they're used to symbolize something, but to whom? Maybe to the workers that come to this shithole for whatever reason, Julia said. That actually makes sense. Good job. You see, the whole picture is starting to paint itself. Yeah, the only problem is that I don't like the picture, Julia said while getting into the marked room. It was a hotel room turned into an experimentation room. In such a small space, they fit 5 people. 5! The rest of the room was disgusting, but nothing out of the ordinary. Then came the last 2 rooms of the visible area. The map said that there was a lot of rooms left, but we wouldn't even have the opportunity to reach them. What happened into these two rooms changed my life forever and forced me to cut our little exploration short. This time the door on the left was wide open and the door on the right was just cracked open. The door wasn't marked, but still it was open. It looked like it was almost broken off. It was hanging by one of those hinges. Whoever opened the door did not have the keys. The blood trail ended into the room and started right after the set of the second doors. I went to open the unmarked door out of sheer curiosity. Getting closer to the door, I started noticing a strong odor of rotting flesh. Before opening it, Julia's hand reached for my shoulder. She looked concerned. I have a very bad feeling about this. Let's just start with the other one, she said, visibly concerned. Yeah, you're right, sorry, I said, snapping out of this curiosity-fed, almost hypnotized-like state. This room was different. It looked more beat down than the other rooms, like something had happened there. At the other experimentation rooms there was some stuff on the floor, but on this one there was not a single object that was not out of place. The big cabinet containing medicine had fallen down, the heavy hospital beds were upside down and in a totally different place than they were supposed to be, and a bedpan was on the ground stained with blood. It looked as if a full-on war happened there, and it looked like the winner was clear. The fuck is that? Julia said, looking in a corner that I missed. What is it? I asked while walking towards the corner. It was some kind of machine. It looked like a backpack at first sight. It had tubes coming out of it as well as a hose. It also had some kind of tank to hold a liquid. It was orange and phosphorescent. It looks like a device used to spray some kind of liquid, I said. Yeah, that's what I thought. The workers must use this device to do whatever their job is anyways, Julia added. But what could they be spraying? After a bit of thinking, I said, maybe some type of cleaning chemical to block the odor of this fucking place? Or maybe, just maybe, it's a mix of chemicals designed to contain whatever is so fucked up about this floor in this floor. Because they can't stop or even kill whatever makes this place so dangerous that they had to hide it, but they can block it from exiting the floor, Julia said frantically now. You like that picture? This place is dangerous. We need to leave, Tony. I know. What do you think I'm trying to do? I'm sorry, but I wouldn't like to be absolutely yelled at by my teachers that are waiting for us outside the door, I said, kinda aggressively now. That's bullshit. You just want to explore this place and you dragged me into this shithole. There is blood on the floor outside, dude. Fucking blood. We're not welcome here, she said, shouting now and breaking the silence on the floor. Slowly but surely the light started flickering again, this time not trying to hide from us. Look at this shit, Tony. You're telling me that you think of this as something mundane and normal? This place is telling us to leave, okay? We need to leave, she said, this time even more loud, and her voice made the lights flicker even harder. Okay, I get this isn't a typical urban exploring location, I said, but I remind you once more that the teachers— Fuck the teachers, man, I don't wanna fucking die, she said, this time screaming that the light shined so hard, and then— darkness. Pure darkness. Even our flashlights were now out. I tried opening my phone, but it would not work. Julia went from shouting to now scared shitless. Please, let's just get out of here, she said. Okay, I'm sorry I screamed at you. I just really think we can discover the whole picture of whatever happened here, I responded, realizing that this place got to me. I'm sorry as well. I don't know what got into me. I guess being scared was just fucking with me. Don't worry about it. Let's just get out of here and go have that beer that you've been craving by ourselves. What do you say, huh? Well, that doesn't sound like a bad idea, but how the fuck are we gonna get out of this labyrinth with the lights closed? Julia said. Well, Before finishing my string of thoughts, like they were trying to help us, the lights started to shine, very lightly, like they were hiding, but this time they were definitely not hiding from us. If that thought came to me back then, who knows how things could have ended. Well, at least we can see now, right? I said, trying to lighten the mood. Just go, she said. It was clear she was not taking any other jokes. I started moving towards the door to leave the room. Julia followed closely behind me. As we moved, the lights moved with us. When we reached the hallway, the lights that were mounted on the wall started to light up as well, leading us to the exit. Julia started walking towards the lights. I went to follow her when, like a calling, I felt the need to go into that last room. I was such an idiot. I don't know what I wanted to find out, but I just had to get into that godforsaken room. Please don't do it, Julia said desperately, noticing me looking at the unmarked door like a hungry wolf looking at a sheep. Just one peek, okay? Just 1 second, I said while getting closer to the door. I can't with this shit. If you wanna go in, then fine. I'm not running behind you this time, she said, crying. I made her cry. I fucking made her. I tried moving the door as I heard Julia storming off while crying. I managed to open it and got into the room. I couldn't see anything. The lights of the hallway wouldn't follow me here. They didn't want me to go there. But I went anyways. The smell of something rotting was even stronger. Getting deeper into the room, I couldn't notice anything, as I couldn't see. I was ready to leave and try to make the situation with Julia better when I noticed it. Damn it, why did I... In the corner of my eye, I saw something glowing in the dark, peeking out of the medical curtain. I went to check it out more thoroughly. It was the same color as the backpack machine, but it was barely glowing this time. I couldn't figure out what it was, but the smell had gotten worse. I contemplated about trying to figure out what the object was with my touch. It was when I decided that it was not a good idea to go around touching stuff in the dark in a place like this when, conveniently so, I felt my phone vibrating in my pocket. It had fixed itself, gotten rebooted. I opened the screen. It didn't help with the darkness at all. I dragged my finger against the screen from the top of it to the bottom of it. I pressed the button to open the flashlight. It did not work immediately. When it was open, I looked up from my screen. Body! It was a body, a rotten, scratched, almost eaten body of a man in a hazmat suit. His legs were broken like twigs, jaw broken like a small rock against the hard waves of the sea. Lights went off on my head, but not on the real world. Lights, it was the perfect horror movie moment for lights to go off, but they only went off on my head. Why wouldn't the lights go off? Lights, body! I fell down and almost screamed from fear. Disgusted from everything, I couldn't think straight. Why no lights? That's what kept playing on my brain in repeat. Julia walked into the room worried as she had heard me screaming. What is? She said, but she didn't finish as she started screaming. A bloody scream echoed through the hotel. And that's when it happened. Like a fucking broken clock, lights started going off frantically. Worse than they have ever been. They almost blinded me. Why would they go off now? It didn't make sense back then. And that's when it hit me. My stupid, arrogant, mulish little brain figured it out. The lights were telling us to leave because it wasn't safe. After we fought, the lights hid and they were more persistent about us leaving because by being loud we had awakened something. By screaming, we had told it our exact location. Run! I screeched as something fell from the ceiling panels. I could see it very clearly from the lights flickering around me. It was clearly a man at some point, but now it had become an animal, a killing machine with black as the night sky and infected skin. His head was filled with little hair, but most of it had fallen off. His eyes were human, but as red as blood is. As soon as I saw it, a hand grabbed me and thrown me against the wall. I felt my hand cracking from the impact as I screamed from pain. I was at its mercy. I was dead. But she had to do something. Why didn't she just run? She threw an object at its head
Not hard enough to actually hurt him, but hard enough to irritate him and distract him. He turned around. Before she could even react, it grabbed her. It threw her on the ground, very hard. No! I screamed as I watched my friend lie there, unconscious. Time moved slow. I saw that mutated Kirku slowly raise its hands as I looked frantically around the room for any objects. The super soldier revealed its nails, its sharp, almost claw-like nails, and it was ready to strike. I found something, a glass bottle of some kind of old medicine. I took aim and looked around the monster for any spots that looked weak. And there it was. At the back of his neck was a very swollen bump of his skin. Blood veins were surrounding it and it looked like it had a hole in it. I pulled my non-broken hand and threw the bottle at the target as hard as I could. I closed my eyes for a second. I heard the glass shatter on that thing. I opened my eyes, filled with hope that I had managed to help my friend out. But then I remembered. I actually thought I was in a video game. There are no weak spots in a monster like that. He was still standing. It didn't even look like he felt anything. My pupils got wide open as I saw my friend get stabbed by that thing. I froze. I couldn't do anything. And then another stab. Her blood got everywhere. I wasn't thinking of anything. Everything, the lights, the voices, everything went silent. And then another stab. This time it hit bone. The monster continued stabbing the now dead Julia. She was dead. She is dead. And it's my fault. In a snap, time started moving at normal pace. The voices came back. They were saying that I had to run. I dashed for the door. It had heard me, and it immediately started running after me. The lights guided me through the long hallway. I ran for my life. I could hear it running behind me. I could hear the lights breaking one by one because of that monster. They were scared of him. The lights started breaking faster and faster as I started blacking out. I was still running, but I couldn't hear, I couldn't talk, and I was barely breathing. The only thing I automatically did was run for the lights. The door appeared from the darkness. I reached for it to open it quickly. I got into the small room as I closed the heavy metal door behind me. I didn't have time to stop though. I dashed for the other brick wall. I pushed it with all my strength to get it opened. I still couldn't hear, talk, or feel anything. The door finally opened. I crashed down the stairs and fell on the landing. I sat against the wall. I never took my eyes off that door, that godforsaken door. I started feeling again. I started hearing myself breathe, started seeing more clearly. I looked down at my hands. They were dirty, filled with blood. Blood from my broken arm. Yeah. That's when I started crying, breaking out like a baby. I started feeling my broken arm again. Started feeling the weight of everything again. I didn't have time to recover when I saw a teacher walking down the stairs. "Where is Julia?" she said as she noticed my blood on my hands. That's all she noticed. Not my arm, not my tears, not the fact that I was shaking like a scared dog. No! The first thing that she thought was that I had done something horrible, like a fucking animal. I thought to myself that if I let the teacher catch me, I could never have that last beer for Julia that she always wanted. I automatically started running down the stairs, almost falling, the teacher closely behind me. I opened the door that led to the outside of the hotel nightfall. The light of the morning sun hit my eyes out of nowhere, blinding me. It felt like we were in there for only an hour, but the morning had already come. I didn't linger to light a cig while waiting for her, as I didn't have time. I had a date to go to. I ran to the center of the city while trying not to get lost. Started walking slower and slower as I got further away from the hotel. At one point, I was walking, trying to blend in, unsuccessfully. I got into the first bar that I found. It was a small pub. I was trying to play it cool once again as to blend in, but all eyes fell on me. I sat down to the bar as a worried barman asked, "Hey, bud, everything okay?" Yeah, can I just get two beers? I said while wiping my tears and snot off my face and trying to catch my breath. I was ready to close up, but sure, he said while he set down the two beers. I started drinking one of the beers. The other one was for Julia. I pulled out of my pocket a pack of cigarettes and a lighter, a bad habit I picked up as a Greek teen, as most of them do. I took one cigarette and after 2 or 3 tries I managed to light it. I opened my phone to look at the time as I was taking a drag of my cigarette. My phone read 7:30. Me and Julia were supposed to meet at 11:10. I looked at the dozens of notifications, most of them from a worried Dimitris asking where I was. I could hear the barman calling the cops, I'm not an idiot. But there was nothing I could do. I sat down and started crying as I drank on the name of my dear friend that had perished because of me.
So you're telling me that I'm supposed to believe all the things that you just told me, Tony? What's so funny?
It's just that Julia used to call me Tony.